All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Beckley Wrestling Show. Today we got something real special for me. It's the only reason why I'm doing this show. But we got the wrestling YouTuber himself, Cayden Henchel. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing so good. Actually, it's my birthday today, so I'm 22. So I'm doing
Right,
good.
I
Doing
seen
real
the
good.
episode. I was happy birthday, my man, and I can't even
Thank
believe
you.
you took the time. So another appreciate you taking it, my guy. Like it's
Sure.
just were you doing anything for it? I mean, other than sitting here with me on the Beckley Wrestling Show here.
Well, honestly, I'm cutting a little bit away right now. We got our intra squad today and tomorrow, so pretty much just to get a full match in us. So have to be within 5 pounds. So just watching my weight, but I got my free Starbucks today, so I have to have that tomorrow. And then I think I'm gonna go celebrate tomorrow at Crumble Cookies. So just planning out my good
Lord.
meals.
Yes, sir. I see it. But you're good at that though, because honestly, obviously, my time's done. But like when I really watch your videos of like how you go about cutting weight, and like I feel you do it in such a great way, and like just like showing like from youth to high school, middle school, whatever the case may be, even other college kids, like you do it to where it doesn't. I mean, and I'm sure at times it isn't easy for you. I'm guaranteeing it, but like the honey on top of like the little grams
Mm.
and stuff that you be eating. Like it's I feel like you do it in such a manner that it looks like, man, this ain't gonna be so dreadful. This looks like a nightmare. Usually, like I used to like sweat bags, trash bags over top of me, like you know what I mean. And it's just like,
Sure.
and we just didn't eat for 3 days, spitting all day, like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I wish somebody like you would have been able to like, hey man, hit up YouTube and be like, ah, hey, if I just eat, change my diet, change. I mean, so what you're bringing to the table is just on so many different levels, doing so many great things, bro.
Dude, thank you. I appreciate that. And I know in my past, later in high school, I did make a lot more tip videos. I feel like now I'm not. I'm almost just more posting my practices and my competitions. And of course, now that I'm at this level, it takes so much time just being in school and maintaining my relationships and having hobbies as well. But I think after like college is done, I'm just gonna go full on try to be the best, I guess, person that people can learn from, whether that be
Yeah.
their diet. I'm really hoping to get more into that, kind of deep diving in what's the best ways to cut weight too. There's a reason I haven't put out a video how to cut weight on my channel, because I understand the number of kids who watch me, just like the younger generation, and like I don't want to be putting the cutting weight in their minds, because especially for a kid, that's the worst thing.
Respect that, bro. I do. I respect that to the fullest because, like, you have like your audience is so. I mean, from coaches that are in their 50s, 60s
Mm.
to 35-year-old guys that just love the sport still and that just don't want to step away from it to youth wrestlers. I mean, you have such a wide variety. So, like, I can definitely respect you wanting to do it in the
Yeah.
right manner because, like, you honestly, bro, you're like the biggest thing, like the biggest name in wrestling, and
Mm.
honestly, I feel something that goes to the wayside a little bit, and to a point, like I love what you do on YouTube, love it, but I don't think, and I'm not saying it does. It's just you're known for your YouTube, but you're an amazing wrestler. Like you
Thank
really, like this past season was it was so fun to watch, man. And I'm
you.
glad you were able to get it recorded because
Yeah.
your growth from your red shirt freshman year to your red shirt, so it was like wow, it's like a whole nother. What do you put towards it? What do you think helped you the most? Was it a mindset thing, or was it just
Mm.
what really set you from going your redshirt sophomore year, 13-12 to
Mhm.
27-5, and the number one seed heading into the national championships?
Sure. Yeah, I think it just came down to maturing. Just my mentality being like, I belong to be here. Like, I am not just like a little boy wrestling little boys. Like, I'm like a man wrestling other men. I have to take responsibility for my efforts, and I have to take responsibility for going, 1-3 my freshman year, which was that COVID year, and 13-12. And it's just like, dude, I'm a YouTuber with this following, but I can't produce a good, like almost not even a winning record. Like something's got to change here.
No doubt.
And I just really, lifted big, lifted heavy, and really just believed in the training and what we got going here at Parkside with Nick coaching us. We're just hammers, all iron
Awesome.
sharpens iron. So just
Yes, sir.
throwing in there every single day.
Yes, sir. And I seen. I mean, the thing it was kind of hard, honestly, when I was digging into it because like I wanted to see like I don't know honestly how much you look into like, hey, rankings and all that. Some
Sure.
people do, some people don't. But from what I was able to see, they got you coming in number 7 at 141 this year.
Mm.
Does that does it make you feel any sort of type of way, or is like the rankings just like, hey, they're numbers? Like I can roll with
Mm.
anybody from 1 to 25.
Yeah, I think now that I've made it through a season going to nationals and wrestling the guys who have placed high and knowing it's like I was, ranked higher than, they were and they placed what they did. Basically at the national tournament, anyone can win it. It's so weird. And it's just, you have to show up at the end of the day. And that's the biggest thing that I'm trying to be consistent with is literally showing up the same wrestler I am every single match. When I talked to Vito this summer, he was saying that he was talking about like these levels, and he said he wants to be able to beat the best guys even on his worst day. So he's just trying to bridge that gap. And if I can do that, I know that this, there's no limit to what I can accomplish that way.
Absolutely, and that's the way I feel like that mentality is. In being around somebody like Vito, it's contagious. Like
Mm.
I can tell just by you talking to him, like he you listening to that mindset becomes contagious. And I've seen
Mhm.
he just signed a deal with Wrestling Mindset, and I feel like they couldn't have found a better person for it. So it's
Yeah.
awesome that you're able to talk to him because I think everybody's really excited to see your Redshirt junior year and what it's bringing. And I know I am personally, like because I can only imagine like the level that you jumped from redshirt freshman to redshirt sophomore. So it's like, man, this the sky's the limit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Hmm.
I honestly, as fans, as people that know you, whether it be from wrestling, YouTube, I mean, which goes together, but like whatever that they're into, like there's a real possibility that we all want to see you be a two-timer. I mean, we wouldn't follow you and love you like we do, and if we didn't, bro, and it's the definite like there's no doubt that you can do it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm do my best, and I know that I believe in my skills, and I just got to go out there and do it at the end of the day.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And with all this, like when I like, does all of this, I guess you got all these like you're able to get with Vito now, like you got this giant platform. Does it ever get in the way of like it does it is it hard to I guess manage both of it, like the YouTube, the just everything you
Mhm.
got going on right now, man. The podcast, which is killing it, by the way. Love Clash of Combat.
Thank you.
Uh, and then just wrestling on top of it. Like, is it hard juggling everything? Just it's got to be a lot.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, I've been making videos for my channel for the past, like 6 years now. And honestly, like once once you do that, it's more of a routine. I know how to edit a video. I know how to, get things going. No time wasted when I'm working there. Doing the podcast. I think we're just about 6, 7 months old now, and it's pretty cool how much we've grown and how much we've accomplished, I guess, so far having guys on. But I think it just all comes down to your priorities. And, me and Crosby really put a priority on taking advantage that like we have this following, like there's no one doing these in-person interviews, like at scale that, we did. And especially being in college and doing this, not, working like another job for it, like that's been able to help because of that. So, it's just priorities. And I think if we can surround ourselves by those top level wrestlers, like, going to Spencer Lee's and Gable Steveson, it's like, I hope that, some of them, their wrestling can rub off on us, and,
Absolutely.
we'll see.
Why not pick the brain of the best ones in the country? You know what I mean? The best
Yeah.
ones that are out there doing it. And it is, man. Like outside of it, like, and I'll be honest. Like the first time I started to do it, I'm like, man, like I lightweight looked at it as like, how am like I can't compete with this. Like, why would I even like it? Kind of I kind of viewed it as like as weird as it sounds, like a competitor to a point. Like,
Mm,
man, he's not. I
mm,
can't be on that level. People ain't gonna want to watch because I can't. With just getting started 6 years ago, could you have done what you're doing now? You know what I mean?
sure.
Or you know what I mean? Like you built and you built and you built, and I think that's the thing that people don't like. You really put in the time to build what you built, man, and
Yeah.
it wasn't something handed to you. It was definitely something you built over time, and it's such a blessing to watch. Such a like, and you've taught so many people a lot of things along the way, including my. I mean, like I said, you're here teaching a 35-year-old man. Got me sitting right here with you right now. I mean,
Sure.
it. So it's you just humbled more than you could ever know, man, and appreciative
Well,
of
yeah. Thank you.
everything that you do.
Thank you. And I almost view it as like a ripple effect. And if I can, provide a good value in one way, I know that can affect someone, that can affect someone. And it's a whole sport thing, and eventually a worldwide thing. I think, kindness and telling people advice and just being a good person, like it can spread. So.
Yes, sir. And I can respect that. And this is actually something if there was somebody like myself, I'll use myself as an example. If somebody was trying to jump into this type of thing, like
Mhm.
even if it just helps the wrestling community, at the end of the day, if it turns into something great, at the end of the day, like I've got to talk to some amazing one right here to the Ferraris to just there's a list. I don't want to leave anybody out, so I ain't gonna
Sure.
even what I mean, try to list them. But it's been awesome. So like whether it did anything or not, it's been the thing wrestling mindset, sitting down with Mr. Gene Zanetti, just what I learned was just it was worth if I never do another one, like
Mm.
it's just phenomenal. So but if somebody was just getting started, like what would be, I guess, a piece of advice, like to be like, hey, 6 years ago I wish I would have known this when I got rolling,
Mhm.
or something along those lines.
Well, I'll tell you what, the resources that people have right now were 1,000 times better than the resources I had when I first started. Like there was YouTube tutorials about how to edit videos and how to, come up with good ideas in your head. But now when you log into Google and you can go to Chat GPT and you can have it right 100, 1,000, 10,000 different ideas that you can. And because of that, you can ask, okay, what camera gear should I get? Oh, there it goes, list of camera gear. What editing software? Who are the best people I should learn editing from? Like the internet is so crazy, and especially in this digital world, like how you just messaged me. You can message anyone, and if they get back to you, great. Now you pretty much open the door in which could never open before. So
Yes, sir.
I think there's just so many opportunities, and you just sometimes like there's so much over information, and it's hard to pick what's right. But at the end of the day, you just have to know that you can do it and just believe that you can do it. Just start. That's it.
And I think and I respect that to the fullest, because I've ran across, just in this short amount of time, like I guess peaks and valleys, to where it's like, hey, you got an interview with one of the Ferraris. Hey, you get an interview with Cayden Henchel. You get all these some great things. You talk with Tom Ryan from Ohio State's head coach, like one on one in person. Got his phone number and just a contact, But it meant so much to me because
Mm.
I live in Ohio, so it was like, well, this amazing. Um, so, but at the same time, like there's also been times where it's like, man, I put so much work into like a video or something, and you post it and it just doesn't click at all, and it's like, man,
Mm.
like maybe this ain't for me. So it's really just getting through for me. Like I guess it's like, man, am I wasting my time? Is this something? Because I have a 2.5-year-old son, so I want him to be able to see, like, hey, it wasn't too. I wish I would have started it earlier, but like,
Mhm.
hey, even at 35, Dad started doing something that he absolutely loves, and just a sport that he loves, and he went after it and he turned it into something.
Yeah.
And I guess that's the overall goal. You know what I mean? Not to sound
Mhm.
cliche or anything, but
Sure.
like
No. Yeah.
it's the truth, and uh, hopefully it does. Hopefully it does. If not, like I said, man, it's been a heck of a ride. I know that your ride's been it's had to have been crazy, but
Mm.
honestly, like back to the wrestling side. What first led you to this sport? Like how did you get introduced to wrestling?
Well, my dad wrestled in high school. So did my grandpa. And interesting story, actually. I haven't shared this. And this is very personal, but we were in the midst of a moving situation. Our house is being built, so we actually lived. Me and my two brothers at my grandparents' house, with my mom and dad there as well. And I remember one day we're sitting on, the pull-up bed on the couch, and my grandpa was looking through, and my dad through the youth wrestling club, and it was the West Bend Wildcat Wrestling Club. And we're looking at the pictures, just like 100 kids there on the bleachers. We're like, I think it's time to put these kids in wrestling. And yeah, we rolled up to West Bend Wildcat practice, and man, it was ever since then. I've been hooked, and it's a crazy experience. But yeah, it's really my dad and
It's
grandpa. They were always my coaches through youth, middle school, high school, even. Um, and yeah, it's been a great ride with them, and my brothers included.
Yeah, because you got a little, like, was last year his senior year or his junior year? Because I
So
remember
this
you
year
putting out.
is going to be his senior year. So this is last year.
Is he a Parkside? Is he a Parkside guy? Is he a
No,
future Park?
he's not a college guy. He'll be hunting and fishing.
Boy, that's hey, as long as he's doing what he loves, man. Good
Sure.
for him though. Congrats on the senior year, and hopefully it goes smooth and he enjoys it.
Yeah, for sure.
But that is wild. And then I mean, when did it really click for you though? Like, so you jump on, dad and grandpa help you get rolling. When did wrestling like? Because you know how I mean, some people it clicks for right off the bat. Like I
Mhm.
watched a little kid last year, my little nephew wrestles, and we go up and watch him, and it was actually a girl, and she just was just first year just walking. I mean, just kicking it, kicking everybody's butt, man. And it was awesome to watch. But then I've watched my nephew. It's taken him a couple years. This is year three he's going into. So, but you can see the growth. But was it like that for you to where the first couple of years were a little choppy, or did it kind of just like, hey, I get this?
Yeah, I think I always had a winning record for sure, but I could never make it to state for the life of me up until fourth grade. So those first 3 years, I always was that what's it called, an alternate. I was always a state alternate, and I was like,
Man,
dude, like this is so. Yeah,
that's
it's
still
so
good though.
annoying though, and especially when like, oh man, just going into that U state tournament, you think that's everything, like you think that's it, but it like was I in for a surprise, right? But made it to state my fourth grade year. I didn't place, but I mean, after that, I was like, wow, like this big event at the end of the year, this is something I can look forward to for the next, at the time, now it's like 12 years later. I'm still looking out for that big tournament February and March, that, state nationals. It's like, holy cow, there's so many different mountains to climb. And so after, winning state my senior year at high school, I was like, I climbed this mountain, but now there's a way bigger one, and it's going to be my biggest test probably yet. So, yeah, now that's where we are.
And that's what's crazy because when you finish your, I know you placed your junior year too, correct?
No, I didn't make it to state my junior year. I was ranked number one going into sectionals, and then I lost two times in a row in the finals match and the true second match. So,
So the only time you went to the state tournament is when you won it.
no, I got fifth as a sophomore, and then
Sophomore. I was about to
I
say 'cause I
qualified as
thought
a
I had it.
freshman too.
Because I knew it said you placed. You were a two-time state placer. I guess I just
Mhm.
assumed junior. It didn't say what year that you placed
Yeah,
outside of winning it your
yeah,
senior.
yeah. No, my junior year, I had a bigger one of these, a big black eye. So that was tough.
One of them, huh?
Yeah.
But that's but you said you qualified your freshman year too, huh?
I was like, I got good late middle school, like eighth grade, I believe, is when I really went to my first out of state tournament. And ever since then, maybe it was seventh grade too, but just traveling and finding the best competition. And, preseason nationals, I go like 0-2, and all like a lot of these national tournaments. It wasn't until I won, there was a tournament called Badgerland Nationals where I got first. And it was like, wow, like I think I can be really good. And that's where I was like, wait, maybe I can even be a high school state champion. So that's what kind of led me down that road, and I finished my high school record. I think it's like 181-13. So
Yep,
that's
that's
pretty
exactly what it
good.
was. That's exactly what it was. Yeah, and I'll tell you what though, it wasn't. It actually was hard to find some things on you because like with the YouTube, like it was like you really got to dig to find some high school stuff on you to
Mm.
where I was like, you got so much stuff about you online, and I'm like, where did he go to school? And then I finally linked up, and I was like, man, this kid was a monster. Like to be honest with you, like you were so good in high school. After I looked at through everything, I'm like. And this ain't, I don't want you to ever look at it as a knock on Parkside, but I was just shocked. Like you weren't getting calls from D1. Like it was like you're a three-time state uh, qualifier,
Sure.
two-time state placer, a state champ. You know what I mean? You were
Mhm.
ranked one in your junior year, but like, so I guess it was like, man, when I first looked at it and that record was like, I've seen worse
Yeah.
go. You know what I mean? So, but I think you ended up right where you needed to be, and it just in God's grace, man, like it's all worked out in such an awesome way for you.
Yeah, no, by all means. And there are levels to wrestling, and you can look at my record and just be like, that's crazy. But I never placed at Fargo. I never went to Super 32. The best I did at preseason nationals was eighth. Like there are so many levels to wrestling, and at that time, there was maybe two or three ranked national guys in the country in the entire state of Wisconsin. Now we have like 30 probably.
Yeah,
Like Wisconsin's getting so good, and
it's just,
it's so cool.
and honestly, I feel like you have a big part in that, though. Like it's not that I think you have had a big part in the growth of Wisconsin wrestling. And
Mm.
I've never looked at Wisconsin as like, man, that's a terrible wrestling state. Like, but it's been like, it was like mid
Mhm.
tier is what I would
Yeah,
say. And now you're getting into the upper echelon of like, man, these kids can bang from Wisconsin. Like
yeah.
it's definitely, and I feel like when it's been in the last several years that it just seems like you've played a giant part in where it's went, man. So just another shout out to like something else that you've helped
Sure.
and
I'm not
done.
going to take any blame on that. That's all on the academies in Wisconsin. You got Askren #1, of course. You got
Yep.
the Nazars, the Crass Trained. I mean, like there's a reason that Wisconsin wrestling is getting so good. And if you get all the best guys in a room every single day throughout the summer and the winter, like people are avoiding their high school practices to go here. Like these kids are going to get good, and it's no mistake why.
That's a fact. That's a fact, and especially Askren's Academy. Like you see, I didn't know about the other ones, but that he is just. I mean, it seems like every kid that gets his hands on, he's able to do some amazing things with. So,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I bet Ben's good people, man. So glad, always glad to see him helping out down there and getting the state going
Sure.
in the right direction. So what's I mean, obviously the goal is NCAA championship this season, but coming off of and I inboxed you it because it's just like, is this whole season based on like a redemption year, or is it kind of like, hey, last year was last year, one match at a time, let's try to go, or is that still in the back of your head, kind of just
Mm.
what happened at nationals last
Yeah,
year?
like at the end of the day, I understood what happened. Like I lost blood round to a kid that I beat earlier, and it's like, yeah, it sucks. But at the end of the day, I'm just focused on being the best wrestler I can be, and I think that this year I'm really like not as nervous at all compared to previous years, just because I know that the training I've put in, I know that it's enough, and I think if I know that, I will win, and
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
got that mindset right, buddy. I'll tell you that. It's good to hear. It is because like I think that's half of it. And like if you had to put uh, something on the mindset, like, all right, you can go and train, but how much of wrestling do you feel is mindset?
It's you can say it like it's everything, because at the end of the day, everyone needs some good mindset to win. Like you can't beat the best guys on just pure athleticism. Like you just can't do that. When it's late in a match and you're wearing on him, like you're just pounding his head, like just heavy hands, it's game over, right? So you just have to
Yeah,
understand your why of your wrestling, and you have to remember, like, dude, you've practiced hundreds, if not thousands of hours. Like you can make it through a 7-minute wrestling match. Like you got to find that in you, and you got to bring that out, and you got to do it.
100%. How you feeling about this 3 point takedown deal? Where's your thoughts at with it, big guy?
Definitely, it helps me. In years past, I haven't been a big top turner at all. I got my first 2 pins of my college career in my first tournament last year, my first 2 matches. So,
I
like,
remember.
yeah, I'm not a big turner at all, but I mean, watch out this year, maybe pull out some tricks. But it
I like
definitely
it.
benefits me because there was a
Oh,
time
you're
I didn't get taken down. I think in like 18 matches. I was like on an 18 match like no takedown streak or something like that. It was crazy. But so there, I think it affects me for sure, because I know that I can take anyone down, and I know that my defense is top tier as long as I don't get to a leg right now. So,
100%.
but yeah, I
It's
think it
my
helps.
favorite part of your wrestling is your defense. Like it's literally, honestly, just you neutral in general. So
Mm,
I couldn't agree more. I think it benefits you tremendously. But
mm,
I'm guessing some top game was worked on, and I hope so, because like I feel like it wasn't terrible though. Like you said, you started locking in and getting
hmm.
some. So I,
Yeah.
I feel like with the 3 point takedown though, the only downside, like, because I've been like I watched it at Super 32s, watched it at Elite Eights, and was just kind of seeing what it would affect. And watched Ohio State's wrestle offs today, and it was like the riding time. Like, all right, so you get a takedown, and then all right, the guy would ride out whoever, like the guy that gets a takedown, and then he goes and the other dude rides him out, and I guess it just didn't. I feel like it takes away from the riding time a little bit. Like
Mm,
that point doesn't mean quite as much.
yeah.
And at
No,
first, I was
absolutely.
really excited about it, but I was like, man, because I feel like riding time is like, man, it's like saying riding a bull for 8 seconds ain't long enough. You know what I mean? So
Mm,
I don't know. I just I don't want to see. I just don't want to see anybody, because then they were talking about taking away the riding time point, which thank
Mm.
God they didn't. Uh,
Yeah. No, definitely. What we'll have to see at the end of the season. Looking back, how much it did affect it. It'd be interesting too to even score like if there was a national finals match this year that person would have if like let's say they won if they would have lost in last year's setting, which would be very interesting
right.
to see.
That is crazy.
So
Yeah, that is wild to think about. And I've never even looked at it like that, but that is like a different perspective of like, wow, it really could have changed like the whole
yeah,
outcome of a lot of things, like national champs and people going for 3, 4. Think your Aaron Brookses, just any of them, the
yeah.
Carter Starachi this season. So I'm excited for it, man. This is my favorite time of the year. Would you
Mm.
be okay if they switched everything to freestyle? Like, is in your own personal opinion, if they did away with folk style completely, would you be all right with that?
Man, that's tough because like I think duels could be over in like 20 minutes then, and that would like suck. I like there's just something about folk style wrestling that we've just been doing it for so long. It's like why would we change it now? Like, of course it makes sense, right? If everyone in the Olympics and World Championships, like everyone else is doing freestyle, like it makes the perfect sense. Just switch to freestyle. I like it's not gonna happen. It's like beating a dead horse. But
Agree.
I think just I'm gonna finish my course, hopefully doing folk style.
Yeah, me too. And to be honest with you, like I hope it doesn't go because to be honest with you, like I love the senior level. U23 has been watching it,
Mm,
and like and this is why I don't think we should. It ain't what's broke. I mean, we're getting we got 3 people: Keegan,
mhm.
Aaron,
Yeah,
Wyatt, all just won that. Like so, these are NCAA wrestlers wrestling folk style. Like
right.
so, I just don't see our senior level guys always do well. It's always us, Iran, Russia. Like I just don't see a reason to like switch it up, and that's just my opinion. But I know a lot of people. It's been talked about so much lately to where like everybody's. I've been asked it 100 times, and I'm always like, nah. Like I love the NCAA season, love it.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
if somebody was like, hey, you got the NCAA finals are on, or the senior world championships are on. Honestly, I'd go get 2 TVs, but like if I had to pick one,
Mm.
I'd watch my NCAAs.
Yeah. I think there's something about holding a guy down and you gotta get up. Like there's something about that it's like in freestyle and Greco, it's like where they just bring him up or put him down. It just doesn't make sense. But like just folk style, just it almost just completes wrestling. I think.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree. Do you have freestyle aspirations after
Hmm.
college, or is it kind of is there a goal for possibly like 2028 or anything like that? 20 like, or is it kind of just like, hey, we got some other things
Yeah, I
frying
think
that
I think I'll be ripping apart the veterans tournaments at some local high schools. Other than that, I'm not too sure right now. We're gonna see how my last end of years finish up, but.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm excited about them. I know that because I know that you've put in the work. And I mean, to
Mhm.
be honest with you, it's documented. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So like can't nobody question like because I seen somebody they were beating up on Bo Bassett real bad after Who's Number One. I mean, I put a post up like it was on Flow. They were showing how he lost and I said Bo will come back stronger than ever because I interviewed Bo and just an amazing man. His dad
Mhm.
just a great family. I know you talk with him also. So
Mhm.
I honestly felt bad because he was getting so attacked, and people was like, "Oh, the rudest deal. He's not putting in the work, or just because he's doing really good things for a kid in high school, and
Yeah.
he's all over the place. So people were really just hard on him
Mhm.
and saying he was more focused on that than wrestling, and it just I was glad to see what he did at Super 32s to kind of like hush up that crowd because like he dominated at Super 32s.
Yeah, I mean, like because what he wrestled the year before, like at 120, and then he goes to Who's Number One and wrestles
138.
138, right? Yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. And the guy's like, "Oh, his dad said he was going to." And then even at Super 32s, he wrestled 132. So it's like, man,
yeah,
just. But I worry about that with you too, though, man. Like I like you guys. Like what people don't realize is like you guys are really genuinely good people, and
mm,
you're still human. And
sure,
just because you're doing great things, like it doesn't mean like you can get on this. I don't know. It's something new to me. Obviously, with just doing what I'm doing and just being a small. I've got a little bit of it, and I'm like, oh, geez, out, man. Like, dude, I got 500 followers. Chill out, like, like. So I could only imagine, like, do you have to deal with a lot of that kind of coming your way? Like, say, I mean, I hate to even keep bringing it up, but like after nationals last year, was
Mhm.
there people like, well, if you were more focused on it instead of your this or
Mm.
anything, like how Bo kind of got it after his who's
I
number one?
I think overall, so on that certain circumstance, I think there were like a couple, but those were like from people who really like aren't my fans or followers. Like they're just people there to chirp.
Yeah,
But you know, I said this before. At the end of the day, like I love wrestling, but I love making videos. Like that's what I'm always gonna do. Like I'm not always gonna wrestle, but I can like always make a video to show something, to entertain something. Like I'm here to fill a void. And there's there was no YouTube creator when I was like a younger kid, and I think that the videos I can put out like that would inspire me as a little kid growing up. So like if I can
it's
do
just,
that, like that's what I love.
you are, and you are, and you and it's been. My gosh, dude, it's been such a fun ride. Like I remember watching you your like your very first, it might have been, it was your freshman year. And whenever like I first really started tapping in, and I was just I was like, man, who is this cat? Then like just as you progressed and just watching your growth on both levels
Mm,
as a YouTuber and as a wrestler, and just was like, man, it's you can influence everybody, man. Like
sure.
you're in, like I said earlier, you're influencing a 35-year-old, you're influencing youth kids to like you said, like, and I love the fact that you're just really caring about what you're putting out and
Mm,
making sure that it's the right thing, and like uh not wanting to and just throw out anything because it's gonna, hey,
yeah.
this might take off. And it would, like, to be honest, if you would put something out about health and nutrition and a
Mhm.
best way to cut and what to
Yeah.
eat and what helps, but like it might not be the best because you didn't do the full, it just, kudos to you, bro. That's even more respect. Like, because I'm sure a lot of people, I would like to see it because it was like, okay, even not wrestling, like I could,
Yeah.
it helps cut some pounds. Like you
Hmm.
get older, it's that packing on.
Yeah.
So I'm just, it just shows who your character, man. So I
Mm.
honestly, I got to shout out Mr. Brent and Mr. Brenda, and Miss Brenda, and just they did an amazing job, man. They raised a heck of a young man, and
Thank you.
love what you're doing, brother. Like, just absolutely, this, I don't know that the sports had anything like you,
Yeah.
and that's got to be, something. I mean, and what first led you to, like, you know what, I'm gonna start filming these matches. Like I'm gonna do it. Like what was like the, let's take off with it.
Yeah. Well, so I first started making YouTube videos just for the sake of making YouTube videos. I think like the first YouTube video I ever posted was how to buy a sweatshirt off of Antisocial Social Club, which was like a hype brand at the time. It was like, 2016. And I was like, it got like 10,000 views in like 2 days. And I'm like, okay, wait, what did I just do? Like, I was always a big consumer of YouTube, watch YouTubers, like from the beginning times, like PewDiePie. And I just love that. And so it was just making YouTube videos just for the heck of it, just a lot of random, nothing niche specific. Like I didn't know anything about you have to have your personal brand. But now, like after when I first filmed my first, I'm trying to think because I had a previous channel that ended up getting deleted. I had like my first 2 years of high school documented, and that channel just got terminated. Still don't know why. And but I think it just was there was like a couple wrestling YouTubers who would vlog themselves doing it. And I can tell you who that was. It was Cole Story, it was Sam Pack, and it was Isaac Gomez. Those were three before me to do it first. And that Cole Story, he was the one who invented the stuff wrestlers do. So that was like the first videos for there. And now I have a couple videos on my channel. But I like those videos, and I was just like,
Yeah,
well, I'm pretty good at wrestling.
no,
Like, what if I would do this? And like ever since I started, wrestling was always a big part of my life. I was doing it like for already 8 years at the time, and I'm like, you know what, let's just try it. And then I just stuck with it, and now I'm just like honed in, and I guess this is what I do.
it is, brother. And when you look at everything you built, I mean, is it crazy? Like, man, this just all started with me doing something that I grew up doing. Like, it was
Mm.
just Cayden grabbing his camera, and uh, I guess, was you getting some looks at meets while you're sitting there talking, and like, did the coaches ever kind of bust you? Was the fans kind of after you or
Mm.
anything like that?
I think It's weird because I think everyone wanted to see me win, but everyone also wanted to see me lose. As weird as that sounds, like it's just it's an interesting concept, and like now it's like it's so weird because I hate being like I guess I don't hate it, but it's like being like the main spectacle. Like when I
Yeah.
walked in, like who's number one, I just like want to go. Like it's at my college, I'm just there to like to sit and watch the duels. But like next thing you know, like one guy sees me, he goes ask for like a picture or an autograph. Next thing you know, I got like like 30 kids coming down, and it's like, dude, like there's wrestling going on right here, and it's just like I don't like
And some of the
taking
baddest ones in the planet. Right. Yeah.
yeah,
I
I don't want
respect
to
that though.
yeah, I just didn't want to take away. I don't want to take away from events like that, but like I just love. Um,
You need to
it's
come
just
down to
so
Iron
crazy.
Man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, dude, once we're in wrestling season, like I'm locked in here. Like there's no
Oh,
traveling.
that's
But
right. Yeah, I guess Ohio, Wisconsin. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah,
I'm
but
over here
that's why
trying to beat
like
you. Hey, come out east.
yeah, I could tell you what. Like after like I'm done with my wrestling in the next 2 years here. Like me and Crosby are really taking over. What people think is wrestling media, and we're really gonna blow that up and help like other wrestlers really make their personal brands. And there's so many things in the works. Like I don't know if you've seen our last podcast, but like we have our own literally our own signature label wrestling shoes coming out. And
I've
like I'm
seen it.
telling you,
I've
like
seen it
these
today.
yeah. So and like these are it's so unbelievable that we know, I guess, the cost of things going into it and being like, wow, like Rudis and like all these places are really ripping kids off. Like this is crazy. Like Rudis is valued as like $70 million company. And it's like
They
like you
should. I
see
can see why. And I'm not sure. I just, yeah, I never paid nothing like that when I wrestled. Like, I never even knew a wrestling shoe cost that much.
yeah, well,
And
yeah, and
I
like
don't mean
now
to knock them. I don't want to sound like I'm being brutal to anybody's, but it just
sure.
is like, wow, like, man, that's, you see
Yeah.
some of the prices. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, like when you're
Like,
paying I remember in my day it was you're like getting like $40 for a wrestling shoe would be like dang, like that's $40.
that's
Oh,
why.
$60. Now there's nothing there's nothing south of that. So like maybe double that. But I think we're coming to the market at a pretty reasonable price. And the thing is, like these aren't like gonna break. Like these are gonna be the shoes that like we want to put out in the market that we want to buy. So I think doing that, as long as trusting the process on the guy who's also assisting us in this process, I think it can go crazy. I'm just really looking forward to promote, I guess, my own product. That's not just like a shirt with a logo on it. Like this is a product that I can hold and be like I'm proud of this. Like I only want to put out if I'm proud of it. So first samples should be coming in here in the next couple months. So I'm hyped.
I'm proud of you though, bro. And this is, I mean, we've never spoke outside of a couple times on Instagram just to try to set this up, but um, I, both of you guys, man, but just absolutely be proud of yourselves, and I'm sure that you are. But man, like I'm proud of you, big dog. Like that's an
Thank you.
awesome. Because I'll be honest, me and my cousin, when we first were starting to dive into this, the whole thing was like to eventually, literally. I mean, and I'm not just saying it to say it. Honestly, like what you're doing is exactly like to the T.
Mhm.
Like I think a lot of people were because it was like, and I was like, man, maybe it could lead to like put some shoes or a headgear or just something like you said that you could hold that's yours,
Mhm.
and it's like, and it's not like, hey, just go print my little logo with my B
Sure.
on it, and just like you said, and just uh yeah, like and hopefully like the wrestling world keeps growing and keeps taking off, and uh, I think there's room for 100 of us out there. Like
Yeah.
I hope people keep jumping on it because like at first I didn't. At first I'm like, all right, I got to find a way to be able to make content and make it to where I got to be the best. Like, and it's like, hey, at the end of the day, the sport that I love is if more people jump in, like, man, let's any way we can hype it up and just get wrestling to keep growing, and it helps us. Like,
Yeah.
if 500, if I get 5,000, 50,000 followers, and at the end of the day, they're like, yo, we want to wrestle, or all these youth start wanting to get into wrestling and they're watching me, and it's like, well, hey man, it's helping. Hey, them Henchel
Yeah.
shoes are pretty thick, you know what I mean? So it kind of like it'll help. I feel like it'll help everybody if because everything takes off, you know what I mean? So I at the end of the day, like, bro, we couldn't just you are the pioneer of it, man. Like you,
Thank you.
like I know there might have been a guy or two that like that might have started doing things before it, but like to take it to the level that you are, like,
Hmm.
and to be honest, I literally. I told my wife before I left here, I was just, and I've done like 52, you know what I mean? And I was just like, I'm not ready. I don't even, I need to do more homework because I always try to like go in and be as much like make sure I know everything as much as I can about that person, like
Mm.
personal life, home life, like how they grew up, their college, what they did in high school, how their record in college, like just everything, like without like it. You want at least to be ready to not come in here and be like, hey, what are you doing? How you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like so I think at the end of the day, like I hope a lot of more people just start doing it because wrestling's growing, man. Wrestling's taking off. Like the numbers that Flo put out this past season, especially with women's wrestling, man, it's just amazing to see and awesome to see.
Hmm.
I went to the state tournament in Ohio this year. Didn't even know it. Walked in and like the whole left side was all girls, and I'm like, what's going on here? And it was
Yeah.
just it was cool. And then I see New York just passed the thing to have them there. And uh, how is it in Wisconsin? Does the women's high school deal kind of taken off down there too?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not like again, like I'm not too involved like there in high school wrestling for the past 3 years. Like I couldn't even go to, the state tournament ever since I won it. And like that was always like my favorite part of the year is going to the high school
Yeah,
state tournament just to watch. So thankfully this year, I believe regionals is on a different weekend than the state tournament. So I'm gonna do my very best to get down there. Hopefully my brothers are wrestling, see him do well. But yeah, like it's always sold out there. So and
it's
another thing too, how you were talking about earlier, like how if there was more, I guess, creators in wrestling that helped grow it. Like I was thinking, like, what if there was 5 to 10 people that did what pretty much what I was doing, like the sport of wrestling would be absolutely insane. And at the end of the day, there's no competition because there's fair market share for anyone. And you can literally do exactly what I'm doing. It's just not. It's never going to be the same. You have your own twist to it, and people are going to like you for that. They're not going to like dislike you because you're copying me unless you're actually copying me. But
yeah.
there's
You want to kind of put because like I have something that like honestly like I want to do that's like I love the direction you guys are going, but like
Mhm.
I actually got an idea of like what I really want to do, like how you said, like you guys want to take it to another level with like how you guys are going to put out like just the content and like just wrestling in general and a
Yeah.
whole different aspect through media. And dude, I couldn't be more excited for it. Like I really wanted to take off to like these schools, and
Mhm.
whether it be the big high schools, like around here, it's St. Ed's, but like show the facility, go in, get the guys practice, and like that's what that's honestly, I'm into works with some colleges now to where like that's the plan, like that I'm hoping will
Mhm.
help take and at least lift it up a little bit and just kind of show like hey the history of the school and like where it came from and why it's such a storied program and
Yeah.
just you know what I mean, like I've seen Flo do it a couple of times and I was kind of like but like outside of like podcasters and like stuff like that, like destroying
Mhm.
the football
Yep.
dude, like how he goes to like LSU and he
Mhm.
like they end up putting a jersey on him and stuff. But like I got that idea and I was like, man, like that'd be really cool for people to really like show these different programs like the Pitts, the North Carolina States,
Mhm.
wherever, Arizona State, like just
Yeah.
Iowa. And right Parkside, like it just and show the history of it. Show like and now that like Parkside like would be so huge, I think it would be an awesome episode, like to go down there and like I feel like it helps even for a scouting purpose. Like
Sure.
kids can really get an inside look and be like, man, that's where Cayden Henchel went, dude.
Yeah.
Like I gotta
Yeah. That's true.
go. You
That's
know what
funny.
I mean? So
Yeah. No, I get it. Man, yeah. No, it's gonna be cool too because I really think that this is the year that we can win a team title, and it's just like, man, like we just gotta
you guys
perform.
are
And
loaded.
but yeah, we're really good. Like we only lost like one of our starters, and like we're all like better. Like we're all like good. We're all way better than we were last
Was
year.
the starter you lost 197 or 184?
So it was
You
our
had a
65.
65. All right, because maybe that's who I'm talking. Was he not like ranked number one in the
Yep,
country though?
yep. So
Like,
yeah, he was.
yeah,
Yeah, he
dog.
was
He
our
was a
team
dog.
captain.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah, he was a dog. I didn't know he was a senior though. Your
yeah,
125 pounder is a beast too. Just that
yeah.
little cat. Uh,
Yep. Corrigan.
thank you.
Yep.
Loved watching him. Loved watching.
Yeah.
Whenever you filmed, like he'd always kind of shock you, and he'd have some crazy upsets, and it was like he really put because he was a freshman last year, right? He was a
Yeah, and
freshman.
like there's no one that like can beat him. If he's healthy and feeling good, like it's like almost in the bag. He's so good.
Yeah, he is really good. He is, and that's what that's what makes it so nice. Like you said, that iron sharpens iron, and like, I mean, we could go even your heavyweight. Like it's always a
So
close match,
he
but it
and
seems like he pulls it out
the
every
thing is
time.
too, he dropped like 20 pounds and is like in the best shape like he's been in like since I've seen him, and I'm like he's gonna be like he's another guy too. Like once those heavyweights make it to nationals, it's like man, perform and you got it. Like you can win.
Yes, sir.
But man, I'm hyped. Like this could be probably like one of the best years ever being recorded of content. And like now I'm to a point where I'm reaching out to people at tournaments like at like Findlay, Ohio, to have someone there for me so I don't have to worry about recording. Like they can like deal with all that.
Yeah.
But man, it's just like I'm just learning year after year on how to do it, and I just think this could be a crazy year.
So you've been like you've never had somebody else recording for it's usually always been you behind that camera.
Oh well, everything comes from me other than if I'm wrestling. That's like, a buddy on my team
Right.
holding the camera. But yeah, like
Mhm.
I edit every single thing I put out there. I do every single thumbnail. I write, every post. I make every meme. Um, it's just like it's what I
You do
do.
good with the memes too, bro. You've been on them
Dude, they're
lately,
going
and they
crazy.
yeah,
They're going
they
crazy.
are right now. It's going bananas. Like to where like honestly, like I was like I can't. I was gonna like because there was a couple that I thought of. I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to jump in on that game because like I don't want to. Like I said, like I don't want to come off as like I don't know, like maybe I overthink way too much everything,
Mm.
bro. I'm like, God, then that's gonna look like, hey, you're trying to, and I don't want to be that way. Like I want to be unique. I want you to be have your thing, and you're
Yeah.
killing it right now with them, and especially that mom one, bro. Like
Yeah.
that was a home run, bro.
It's
Like
funny because like when
absolutely
I'm
a
when
home run.
I'm making them late at night, I'm thinking and I'm going on CapCut. I'm looking at the green screens. And I'm just thinking, how could this relate to wrestling? And when I saw that one, I'm like, this is gonna be my best one I've ever made. Like it's when you have a video made, and it's like, but I can't post it until like tomorrow at noon. I'm just like waiting on a gold mine. So sometimes it happens on YouTube too, where I had to do it. Like I'm gonna have our intro squad tomorrow, and I'm just gonna be like racing to get back here to edit it because I just love looking through like my match and just seeing like what I did and how it looked, and I'm like, this could be an amazing story. This can really, really be enjoyed. So, man,
Yeah, because I honestly, I'd love to pick your brain, like, and that would like just on how you do it such an amazing job. Like, and I mean, it's something like we don't like eventually one day, like I just would like to like kind of just get inside of it and be like, hey, what are you how are you using this and what is this? Because like me, because like the stuff you're doing, like I'm sitting here looking at like the two apps I use, I'm like, man, it don't do either one. It don't do none of that. Like
yeah,
I can't do that, bro.
yeah.
Like
I'll
I
tell you
think
what.
that's sick. That turned out super sick.
Thank you. I'll tell you
Yeah.
what. I'm actually in the midst of creating. I'm working with the Athleter brand, and we're coming out with like the social media course for athletes. Whether you're in high school or you're in college, like this is something that universities, like literally universities or just an average Joe high schooler, could purchase. And this is the wrestling course of exactly like how I make my videos through Instagram, SEO optimization, profile optimization, doing all the tips and tricks, everything you need with direct links, with perfect templates, worksheets, literally everything you need. It's going to be, I don't know how long it's going to be, over 8 modules, but it could be, a couple hours of content. And I have to film this within the next 2 months and pretty much everything. Like we've been working on it for a month. But yeah, this is something really, really big that we're really going to run with. And it should be coming out like late January or early February. But this is a really
Excited,
game changer in like all of college athletics, I think.
excited for it. So
Yeah.
more or less, you're like Bobby. You're not picking my brain, but you can buy this.
Yes, once it comes out. But like even the stuff that like how he helped me plan out the course, some of these things are like, this is gonna help me so much because some of these things I just overlook, that I just sometimes fail to do, or just I don't realize I'm doing them. And if I am aware I'm doing them, then I can do it in a way better way. So it's gonna be a learning tool for me as well.
That's awesome, bro. Hey, what are you? Is this what you're taking in college? Is this what you went to school for? Like to for media type purposes? Like I didn't see what you're like.
Mhm.
what you were chasing. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like what
If I'm being completely honest, I hate school. I don't like any of my classes. I go to school for marketing. I go to school to wrestle and make YouTube videos. Like I couldn't make YouTube videos if I wasn't wrestling, and I can't wrestle if I'm not in school. Like I'm gonna work and I'm gonna accomplish what I want to do. Like I'm gonna get things done, but I don't need a degree telling me that I have, authenticity or whatever. Like I can show up to class. Like I can do whatever I want. It's like you can learn anything on
absolutely.
YouTube. So like it's just, but like of course there's some things I learned which are great. But
Yeah, I'm with you
yeah,
though. Like to a point, like because you already got your niche, you already got what you need.
yeah,
So it's like, hey, I'm here to go win national championships, and this is just something I got to deal with for it. I
yeah,
already know
yeah.
what I got to do, and I don't need. Yeah, I
Yeah, one,
respect
one
that
thing
though.
one thing when we had Austin Gomez on the podcast, he said, I don't want to play school. And like I think that's what his dad said to him. He's like, you're not here to play school. Like you're here to win a national title. Like you're here to
Facts.
compete. So it's just like, wow, like after realizing that, it's like there's so much different standards that people have. And some people want that degree and that's fine for them. But like again, like everyone's different. So
Yeah, and they are, and because like some people, like most parents, it's like that you talk to, it's like Christians. Actually, this was wrestling mindset. Like, well, he's like Catholic. What? How do you say it? Mr. Gene said he teaches his kids. It's Catholic, gentleman, scholar, athlete, and it really stuck with me because like he's like I want him, first follow, make sure faith is first, making sure you're being a gentleman, making sure you're good in school, and then wrestling or whatever sport that they're into, and it really it stuck with me, but like it did to a point to where I was just like man, because I obviously have a son growing up, but he's only 2.5, so I got some years. But I really picked his brain about like I don't want to be that dad that that dad, dude.
mm,
Like I don't want to be that guy. And everybody thinks I'm gonna be because of how much I love the sport. Like not that I come off that way and like I'm some like bah guy, but it's just like man, he really loves this sport, so he's really gonna be like hey, Cash, you better get out there and like this is what we are, this is what we do. And it's like, no, that's not the case. Cause like, so I really picked his brain about it and he gave me some good answers with it. And it's more or less like just you get that they gotta love it. Just because you do doesn't mean that they do. And
yeah.
it, it it's hard though, because it's like, man, this is my whole family. They started with my whole family. My mom put us on a mat at the age of 5 and was like, "Here, wrestle." And it was an open tournament. They had it was called the Carrollton Open Tournament here in Ohio, right in our hometown. And we didn't have a clue what we were doing. Like I even had to
Mm.
wrestle my brother. Like he was just like tackling me, and I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like, but it ended up being something I did until I got out of school, and I ended up at Franklin Regional and wrestled up like where Spencer and Michael
Mm.
Kemmer and same high school I went to
Yeah.
10 years before them.
Yeah, it's interesting with kids too, and sometimes I think about it. It's like kids are instinctually or instinctuous. I don't whatever word that they like. They're bred to wrestle pretty much. Like there's like kids are gonna be running at their parents, trying to take them down. Like it's instinctual.
I had it
And
happen before I came
the
here.
reason, the reason that kids don't stick in wrestling is because of an outside factor. Whether you're gonna have that parent who screams at you for losing, screams at you for winning, like there has to be like there are so many ways around to make a kid love wrestling that they're just gonna
Yeah,
love it, and it's not gonna be forced. And like
absolutely.
if you can have a kid in an academy, that plays games that have great wrestling practice. Sure, some are hard, but they're not too hard if they're too little. Like you got to know that there's certain like levels of wrestling at certain ages that you have to introduce them to. Like if I was in a youth practice and the coach told me wrestle until one of you like quits, like actually quits, like I would, yeah, that would be the worst day ever, and I probably quit. But like now in college, it's like you go in there and it's like, okay, wrestle until one of you quits. It's like there's like different levels to it, so you just got to know what to apply.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. And that well said, very well said. And that's my biggest. Like, I just hope that I can apply it in the right way to
Mm,
where I. It's pretty much my biggest fear. Like you don't want to fail as a parent anyway,
mhm.
like at all. And I didn't know this until 2.5 years ago. Like I've seen my brothers had kids and stuff, and I was just like, yeah, like you're doing great. Smack
Mhm.
them,
Yeah.
when they're bad, put them in, sit them down, praise them when they're good. Like
Mhm.
be a parent. But then when you really get one, it's like, wow, there's a lot more to it. And I just want to make sure that like I I hope. like I said, obviously I want him to be a part of something that I love, and
Mm,
but I don't want to. I don't want to be that guy. And honestly, I when I was
mhm,
talking to Ferrari the other day, he really because I was wondering like, how do you get three of your sons to a D1? Just how Mr. Ferrari did it. Like, how did you get
mhm,
all three of these boys wrestling for Iowa, Oklahoma State, whatever the case may be? And he said that like his dad, like people would see him in the stands yelling, screaming, getting after him. And he's
mhm,
like, but what they missed was like my dad at home singing us songs like, some Christian songs to go to bed, or
mhm.
like not letting us have cell phones till we were 17 because we had to be talk to our siblings. And he's like, and that's why we're our best friends. And to be honest with you, coming from him, I was just like, wow, I,
Mm,
that I, I guess like the persona, like the outside view, it's definitely don't judge a book by your cut. By like
yeah.
it was phenomenal, bro. It really was. And I seen
Wow.
you sat down with Angelo, and
Yeah.
I was with Anthony, and uh, it it just definitely just good people. And I met them up at Iron Man, and their dad was just super humble, super just sat down, shook my hand, entered like just like
Hmm.
wasn't like and I think they get that because like I watched them get booed out of not booed out of it because like ain't nobody pushing them guys anywhere they don't want to go,
Hmm.
but like just the whole crowd like they just wanted them to lose from rip. Like Angelo
Mm,
got booed, like the whole Blair Academy came and sat on like and then he ended up winning and like just letting them eat the flex, and
hmm.
it was actually awesome. But how did that whole interview go with your end of the Ferrari deal? Like, because I absolutely just they intrigue me, man, and I think they're amazing people.
Yeah, no, they're good. I think definitely like they can run with the cards that they've been given. And there's a big reason why like like AJ got so many people talking during like all his flexes and all his basically that WWE personality a little bit. Like you get people to care. Like if you get people to hate, well, good, at least they're caring for something. Like
Exactly.
you got to have people get emotional about wrestling. And with that being said, it's like each one of them is like different, and each one can play like a similar role. And I like with them, of course, like it's great for wrestling.
It is, man. It really is. And that I'll tell you, like I guess I was not you heard the news clippings and what you see on social media, so like I really went into the interview like not really knowing what to expect. Was very curious, and I walked away from an hour long interview just very just a whole different outlook on just what a great human being. Like it
Mm,
it was awesome, man. It really was. And now with you, like I went in knowing like because like I already knew from the last 4 years, like I feel like I already knew you. You know what
yeah,
I mean? To a
yeah,
point, as weird as that sounds, like I've watched you for so long that it's like I know he's a good man. Like I
mhm.
know he means well and wants to do good things and has helped this sport. So this one was pretty easy to come up to, man.
Yeah, absolutely. This is fun. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. And I appreciate. I honestly, I apologize. I honestly even told my wife like, hey, I don't. If this man stays busy, I'm going for 35, 40 minutes max, and I got you for an hour. So I do apologize, brother.
No, all good, all good.
But seriously, Caden, I know I've said it a bunch, man. Thank you for everything you've done for this sport. Thank you for even getting me motivated because I've talked about this for 2, 3 years. Like my family's been like, just do it. And I'm like, nah, it's what it is. But I watched you grow and grow and grow. And it was just like, why
Mm,
not try? No
yeah,
matter what happens, like you're either going to have some amazing conversations with people at minimum and learn some things, which I've learned a ton, and or maybe this thing can turn into something one day. And
hmm,
that's the overall goal. But if it don't, like I said, it is what it is. So, and if it wasn't for you, brother, it wouldn't be. So, thank you again. And for just the entire wrestling community, man.
well, thank you. That means so much. Honestly, I feel so good about myself after talking with you. This is great. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate that. I get roasted all around, all over my apartment here, so it's funny. But no, I do appreciate that. And yeah,
Ah, bro,
man.
if I was with you every day, like, yeah, I get it, I get it, because like they got to. That's what a friend with. That's what an everyday friend
Yeah.
does. That somebody that probably won't run into you for a little while, man. I just want you to know what you're doing is amazing, brother, and I appreciate you taking this time because, in all honesty, right now you're one of the biggest things that's hit wrestling and one of the best things I've seen hit
Mhm.
wrestling. in my life, man. So I think you're taking these youth kids and giving them somebody to look up to. And I know, like I said, I have a 2.5-year old, and I can promise you, like he's gonna look up to Cayden Henchel, and he will know who you are. And he and I couldn't ask for anybody else for him better to look up to.
Oh
So
goodness. Well,
just
thank
glad
you.
you're doing your thing, big dog.
Means a lot. I'm excited. I'm excited to see your journey as well. And if there's anything that you need help with or anything, just let me know.
Likewise, man. And I know that there ain't a lot I can do at this point, but man, if there is, no question, if there is, I'm there in a second. But I appreciate you saying that more than you know.
Mhm.
And you have yourself a good night, man. Stay healthy, have a good season, and just you go get that thing you're going after, because I know you can, brother. We all do, and we're all behind you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Maybe next time we do this, I'll have the NCAA trophy in my hands.
I hope so. And hey, if you do get it, I mean, after Flo and everybody bombards you because everybody's gonna want to talk to you or
Oh
whoever. But
gosh.
like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get that at least first or second one.
Sure. Let's do
All
it.
right, my man. Well, best of luck though, man. And hopefully, just I hope for just health. Stay healthy, man. That's my
Thank you.
biggest worry. So but you got it. I promise you.
Thank you. All right. We'll talk soon.
All right, yes, sir. Take care.
See ya.
Later, bro. Cayden Henchel. That was cool. I was super nervous though, honestly. Like I don't know why. Like I'm 35, you know what I mean? He just turned 22, which happy birthday by the way. Can't believe I didn't tell you that as you were getting off, Caden. Thank you again for taking the time to for real sit down with me. Like super amazing. Just wow. I've watched him for so long, so like to sit here and be able to talk to him. It's like to be honest with you, like I mean anybody on the other side of the screen, we're human, right? So like you sit there and you watch your favorite actors or actresses or whatever the case may be. Well, I love wrestling, like you know what I mean. So like, I've watched this dude for 5 years. So like, I literally like it's like meeting somebody famous or sitting there, and he's just so laid back, such a chill guy. And what he's doing, what he's building is such an amazing thing. And I can only hope to get to half of what he is. And what we obviously we're going to try to. We're not stopping. Well, you know what I mean. You got to keep you got to keep after it. You know what I mean. This is a dream of mine. I love this sport. I'm going to be a part of it no matter what. So, and he just sets the bar so high, and uh, it makes it even better though because at the same time like that gives other people like myself like all right that's the standard, you know what I mean. And what he's doing though is like I said to him, like with my son, like I really mean it. Like if you see if you watching this, you know Caden, obviously you probably watch his videos, but if there's anybody on here that hasn't, man, such a good humble kid that deserves everything that he's getting. It's truly a shout out to Mr. Brent and Miss Brenda. Like you guys have done such a phenomenal job. I'm sure all his siblings are amazing, uh, but just can't thank him enough. Excited to see what he's bringing in the future. Excited for these new shoes. I can promise you, I'll have a set because just anything to support him, man. He he's really doing great things, and I really can't say enough about him. I could sit here and ramble for the next 30 minutes, but I'm not going to. But just make sure you guys hit that subscribe, hit that like, man. We got some amazing interviews coming down the pike, and it's just been a blessing, man. Things that we're getting ready to partner up with somebody, and it's going to be huge. So uh, hopefully you guys can start following along for our journey too. And yeah, so we appreciate it. We love y'all, man. Beckley Wrestling coming straight at you.